Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this section here is on hydraulics. First things first, and this will throw you for a Lulu. The hydraulic hoses are used to ground the trailer, its electrical system, to the tractor because of the way the fifth wheel is set up. It does not have it. There are 3 hoses that connect the two. 2 small hoses are high pressure, and the 1 large hose is a return line. It is low pressure. Do not beat on these things while it is under high pressure being operated, because if they fracture, they'll kill you. There are valves built into the end of each hose, as well as to the connections on the tractor, that must be completely open before you power up the system with the PTO pump, or it will bust the dang pump. You cannot compress a liquid, so they must be completely tight, or you can destroy your hydraulic pump on the tractor. You have to be careful in your turns. Make sure you don't overdo it and rip them out. But that is your basic hookup. There's nothing to it. Now, in order to set the PTO RPM, operating RPMs, this is one way. Now, this is on the Volvo with the turn signal switch. There's a little rocker switch on the tip, and hold it upwards if it is on, and it'll eventually get there. The second way is just to put the throttle down with your foot and rock the bottom of that switch 1 time, and that is it, and it'll set it. I don't know why, but that's one of the things people have a lot of trouble with when I'm first teaching them how to do this. We're going to go through all the controls here. They're on the trailer. We'll leave the actual remote control for another time. These are your 3 primary ones. The first one is to raise and lower. That one in the center was to rotate in and out. That's your stinger. And the final one of the 3 is to turn your auger system on inside the stinger. And this final one, number 4, is your floor auger control. It turns it on and off, as well as you can slow it down or speed it up depending on how far you pull or push the lever in or out. Some trailers, like mine, have a valve, and we'll show it here in just a moment. This is the chain, gearbox, and motor that actually pivots the entire stinger setup around, in or out, counterclockwise or clockwise, depending on what works in your mind better as far as understanding. That's the rear motor for the vertical or the stinger, the hydraulic cylinder that raises and lowers it, and the hoses. You have to watch these hoses. Sometimes they're not routed correctly, and you can tear them out, but they're under extreme pressure, so you got to be careful. Don't be beating on them or anything of that nature. And this little band here, I'm going to zoom in on. Your hoses can get hooked around that and be pulled out. So you get a new trailer, you want to make sure as you're pivoting it back that you watch that to ensure it doesn't get hung up and tear something to pieces. There's the bottom motor that turns the vertical section of the stinger, and you can see it spinning, as well as the floor auger. Do not wear loose-fitting clothing, especially your sleeves in the wintertime around those. If it grabs a hold of your sleeves, it can literally rip your arm off. Do not poke your hand into any of the inspection hatches if they were to pop open while it is powered up. Go shut the dang truck off. Literally turn the truck off, take the key, and put it in your pocket before you do anything of that nature. Now, these are the electrical air operated, electrically operated, but they use air. These are solenoids that operate the system remotely using a remote control. And you can see there's gobbed up wire. They've been rigged up 50 million times, but they work. This lever here is for the floor auger. It's the single one. And like I stated earlier, it is for the floor auger. That brings the feed from the open compartments to the vertical section of the stinger that supplies the stinger, and it's what brings the feed up so you can get rid of it. You can move it in or out, or if yours has a valve like this one, a round valve, you can turn it left to slow it down or to the right to speed it up, depending on what you are needing. And listen to your system. You can hear whether it's in a hell of a strain or if it's not straining at all. The faster you can get that thing to run comfortably, the quicker you can unload the trailer. However, if you do it too much, you're overloading the system and it will overheat and eventually it will fail. And then instead of unloading feed, you're sitting at a shop on your happy fat butt, which is not doing you any good because you're not making any money. Now that one lever controls the Stinger's auger system, and that's where the bottom one is. And it takes feed from the floor auger and pushes it vertically up, and into the Stinger itself. And you can see we're at a different place, a different farm when I did the filming. And from the inside the cab, your remote controls, you can use it. It's hardwired into the tractor. It's not a remote control in the traditional sense as radio operated. It's all hardwired in. And you can pivot it around and up or down, and you can see, you just bump it and it'll drop it a little, bump it and bump it. And you can see through your back glass and many of the farms right where the Stinger is at, and put it right in there without having to guess at it from the rear. I'm going to do a separate video on unloading at old school farms. Here you again, hold the throttle down, rock the bottom of the switch. Boom, there you go, you're set up. And as always, you want to get out and look, ensure it isn't a hole. Thank you much for watching.